Okay, Itomek Skanatoni, good morning. It is a wet and muddy Friday, September 28th, 2018, in the lunar cycle Awakat Sikitsum, the deer moon. And I'm just leaving Popson Park. I came here because my morning is starting off like most with a skunk call. So I went and picked up a skunk off of Queens Road here in West Side, Lethbridge. And this is the second skunk that I've picked up this week from that residence. Now, they had only observed 2 to begin with, so this might be it. But I replaced my trap in any case. And the skunk this morning was a little bit stinky. You know, the trap is set up in an area between a couple of bushes, decorative bushes. And so for me to get in there and get my tarp around the skunk is pretty intimidating, whether I'm speaking Nizipboasin or not. So any case, I let it loose down here at the same place where I let loose the other one from that den. So hopefully, you know, they can find each other if they're siblings or what have you. It was kind of sweet when I went to go set up the trap. One of the residents there was really concerned about whether or not these skunks would get split up, thinking maybe it was a married couple. And to my knowledge, skunks don't work like that. They don't have monogamous relationships where male and females stick around together long term. But you never know. Any case, I didn't put out a Thursday update, a weekly update video yesterday, mostly because I didn't have anything that I hadn't already shown during the week, anything substantial going on in my life. You guys are seeing it all. Or most of it. It was wet and cold yesterday, rainy all day, so I stayed home, caught some of the rainwater for drinking water because I love the taste of the natural water that comes from the sky. And I know there's people out there thinking, what about the air pollution and all this stuff? I actually had a guy come to my house. He was trying to sell these fancy water filtration systems, and he did tests. He did tests on his filtered water, compared that with my tap water, and then compared it with my rainwater. And what happened was pretty glorious, because the rainwater beat out both the tap water and his filtered, cleaned water by many, many millions of parts. many parts per million, I should say. Like, substantially cleaner, my rainwater, compared to anything else you can get. Bottled spring water, you know, really filtered, cleaned water, tap water, doesn't matter. My rainwater is way better. So for those of you that are gonna tell me, aren't you afraid of the air pollution? Nah. So yeah, I trapped some drinking water, a couple gallons of water yesterday as it fell from the sky. Meanwhile, I was busy in my upstairs ripping out more carpet, pulling out all the old tacks and that kind of thing, and using what vinyl planks I had left from my earlier purchases. I've still got about half of the master bedroom left to do, and that's going to probably run me another $300 to $400 in planks. And then moving into the crow's room and Belle's room. And in the crow's room, I think I want to handle it differently because I want to change out the walls too. I want to do the whole thing in tiles. So I want to take the whiteboard off and replace it with wood. So I might do that before I lay their floors. It would only make sense, you know. I also spent a good part of the day keeping an eye on the new rattlesnake patient, whose name is yet to be determined. I know there's a few hypothetical names that have been thrown out there on both Facebook and YouTube. I haven't adopted any of those names yet. So far, I'm thinking of him as a Charlie. Not a Charlie with a strong R, but more like the sun-kissed tuna Charlie. No, he reminds me of a Charlie, so I might end up calling him that. I haven't decided yet. Keep throwing names out there, and I might see one that I like better than Charlie. But that's kind of what I'm leaning toward. And I've been watching him. He's quite active, quite alert. And, you know, he's been exploring the enclosure that he's in, checking out what his, you know, different options are and whether he can escape, and found his, the little den that I have set up in there. So he's now using that when he's not exploring and such. His hemipenes is the problem, right? They are blackened, dried out, unsalvageable medically in terms of any chance for him ever retracting and using them again, or participating, you know, in the reproduction of further rattlesnakes in the future. So that's all out of the picture for this snake. So the big question at this point is what to do about it. Do I try to find a vet? You know, if there's not one in Lethbridge, surely there's a vet somewhere in Alberta who would be willing to do an amputation for me. That's one option. Trying to find a vet, and one who's willing to work, you know, for just the recovery of his material costs. You know, not for profit, because I just don't have any money to do that, you know. So that's a possible avenue to go. Another route is if I attempted to do the surgery myself. It's tempting because, sorry about the sound, but these roads get pretty bad when we've had a lot of rain and such. Yeah, it's tempting to just take a scalpel and sever that thing off myself because it's so dry, and I don't think it would even bleed. I don't know if I cut it just, you know, above the points where it becomes dry. And I do have silver nitrate sticks that I can cauterize with if it did start to bleed a little. And there would be concern, of course, for the snake, both in terms of pain. However, when I've taken snakes to vets before and they tried to gas them, they were not able to put them under. So I don't know to what level I can avoid giving the snake some pain, whether I bring it to the vet or not. There's that aspect, and then of course there's the potential for infection then, if I open up anything that's still not dried and gangrenous. Of course I would use some antibiotic cream on there, some ointment, and then wrap it with bandages. It's a possibility. I haven't really went hands-on with this snake yet. I haven't decided to do that yet. When I do, it would be because I'm going to make a move, because he's given me plenty of opportunities, and he continues to do so, to observe the injury without having to handle him. And so as long as he does that, that's best as far as my observation of the injury goes. I don't need to pick him up. But if I'm taking him to a vet, or if I'm going to cut that thing off myself, then we might have some hands-on coming up. You know, the other option, the one Mahoney thinks I should probably follow, is the possibility that this thing, that the appendage is so dried out now that it's going to fall off on its own. And I think that's a real possibility. And I've put him in an enclosure where there's lots of things that he could get that dragging sack of dead meat stuck on as he moves around. Hasn't had that issue yet, but it's definitely a place where he could find opportunity to tear it off if he wants to. So yeah, all of that is yet, you know, that's where it stands right now with him, just monitoring right now. I might call around today at some point and see if I can find any vets, because if I had a vet that was willing to at least look at him, we could start there, you know. But we'll see. Any case, today is going to be busy. I'm on my way now to go lead a walk and talk for a group down at Spokane at the pond. I'll be doing that for a couple hours, and then I'll have to head directly from there to Lethbridge College to teach my afternoon class. So I'm going to be busy until about probably 4:30 in the afternoon. And beyond that, who knows?